Well, this video is going to be about growing tomatoes, my greenhouses over there. But I think maybe I'll just talk about the garden a little bit as we're getting ready. The snow is just about all gone. There's a few little white patches in the trees. Still about 2 weeks before we should plant the garden. You can see I've rototilled them. If I have time, I'm going to mix in some composted manure in the gardens. And I've got some bales of peat moss. I usually throw some of that in each year too. So I haven't done that yet. But it's a nice day, and I think it's warm enough that I can plant my tomatoes in the greenhouse. So I'll show you what's going on with the greenhouse. They're not very long. They have big doors at both ends. In the summer, I keep one door open all of the time to ventilate it. But when we're expecting frost, of course, I keep both of them closed. So in here, I'm going to have tomatoes on both sides of the path. See, there's a little ridge on each side. Well, that's to contain the water. When I water the tomatoes, I just fill up the whole area right there. Now, I like to start the tomatoes in cages, but I have ropes. See those ropes with the big nails on the end? Well, they're hooked against the hoops and in a little eye bolt over there. But they will hang down to the ground, and each tomato plant will climb up those ropes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so 16 tomato plants can go in here. And also I've got boxes over, one big box, I guess, over on the side. This year I'm going to try strawberries in there, see how that works. And what's this? This is early May. Hopefully by the end of September, we will see tomato plants reaching the top and we'll have a huge crop. My wife boils them up and makes tomato paste, sauce, whatever, that we freeze, and then we're eating it all winter long. We love it. And of course, we like the tomatoes too. Here's the scene a few minutes later. I have one big cherry tomato plant. I'm going to put it pretty close to the middle of the room over there. And I bought one, it's called Super Fantastic. Apparently it's a great greenhouse tomato. I buy one big plant just so we get some tomatoes early in the year. I'm going to plant it right here. And I'll plant it as deep as I can. My good rich soil is only about 1.5 feet, maybe close to 2 feet deep. But I'll plant it as far up on that plant as I can. And then over here, I have 18 little tomatoes. They cost almost nothing when you buy them in trays like that. I'll just cut them apart, plant them, and things will get going pretty quick. Okay, well, I've planted the little cherry tomato. I put it near the middle of the house because I'm afraid the frost coming in the cracks in the doors. So I know from experience if something's going to get frozen, it's the one closest to the door. And over here I planted my Super Fantastic, my one big one, and I buried it pretty deep. But I know that's the way you're supposed to do it. I buried it as deep as I could. Now over here, I have trays of smaller tomatoes. I have Bush Early Girl, and the lady at the store told me that they would climb the rope a lot. So I'm going to put them over in the middle of our greenhouse where they can reach the highest point of the ceiling. And there's another variety called Early Girl, not Bush Early Girl. She said they'll climb the rope as well, but I'm going to put them over closer to the south side of the greenhouse. So if these ones get really tall, they won't be shading these ones because they will be closer to the sun. And we have a couple trays of something called red beefsteak tomatoes. And we're going to see what happens with those. It's got a great name, doesn't it? Red beefsteak. Sounds wonderful.
Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't